Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, and boy am I hoping that I have all of my technical issues sorted out, although I think the camera's a little lopsided where it looked fine before I went live. Anyway, yeah, I have a new webcam. I don't think that it is the most perfect webcam. I'm not super happy with the audio yet. So I may still get a new microphone at some point, but hopefully it is fixing some of the issues that we've had with audio recently, but I'm sure that YouTube commenters will be good enough to let me know about whether or not that is the case. But regardless, I'm here to talk about the new stuff on the JP side today, specifically about the 3 new EX units, Medina, O, and last but not least Phoebe. And I do want to talk about the 2 new summons to get 3 stars, as well as our 2 new vision cards. So I'm going to start with talking about basically the units first, because I think the units is a good place to start. And let's start with Medina. Now, Medina has been in the game since launch. She has been one of the most pure, fast, great units for a lot of players for a long period of time. So off the get-go, I'm going to say that, first of all, I think that Medina is probably a unit that a lot of people will naturally go to invest in. And looking at the general information that I have about her so far, I'd say that's probably pretty good. Medina ended up was already just a really solid unit, good speed, good AoE nuking, supported ice element really well. Fire element is, still not incredibly existent even on the JP side. So I've never really thought that Medina was bad. One of the things I've always thought though was Medina was starting to lag behind some of the other units, specifically calculators, because calculators have kind of replaced Medina's job. Medina was a limit burst farmer who could spam her limit burst at the beginning of battle, potentially catch a lot of enemies, and then do really fast. But the thing about calculators is they do the same thing, and they can do the same thing multiple times over and have equally as strong of effect. But, Medina's limit burst also had the ice debuff. Taking a look at her new EX, as some people have noted, I've been particularly unhappy with a lot of old units EX jobs because I don't think they quite measure up. But I do think Medina is one of the older units that is probably looking pretty good. Stats increase wise, I don't think that there's anything that's going to drastically change her. More of all of the stats, and especially a pretty nice boost to magic. Unfortunately, nothing new for agility. That would be kind of nice, but overall, for increasing her to EX form, she will get a stat boost, which is pretty nice. All right, getting into the skills though, one of the most important one, her key black mage one, which was her 30% magic, which I think was always basically a guarantee that you run that, now is a 30% magic plus spirit penetration of 40 when totally maxed out. Great, fantastic. Support skills getting upgraded, I think, are a really essential part of what makes a EX unit potentially viable into the future. And one of the big things for mages right now, a lot of mages, is needing spirit penetration to still be able to dish out a lot of damage. And 40 is pretty good, so I'm generally happy with that. Taking a look at her other her other upgrade as well as her brand new skill. Her upgrade is to Flare, and some interesting things about Flare. Flare got its cost cut down to 42, which is pretty nice. It also got an extra cast right now. It didn't get a damage up, but now that she has spirit penetration, I don't think that's as big of an issue, since Flare was already just a really strong ability, dealing like 322% modifier on that. And with 40 spirit penetration, it's probably a good way of balancing it, of making Medina much stronger, but against, stronger units, but also not just power creeping the value. So I think that's pretty good. And her newest ability, which is like a secret or extended or better version, is a new spell for her, 141% modifier when maxed out, that also decreases spirit by 20 for 3 turns to targets, and decreases healing power by 40 for 3 turns for targets. 24 AP cost and 3 uses, and it is a plus AoE. Wow, really nice. This also works really well with her. The fact that she already has spirit penetration, she can potentially catch multiple units with this. There's multiple casts of it. It gives her a new spell to use. It doesn't really help her with everything that she needs. You know, some more. I think this, you know, as always, you kind of want just more AP, more stats, and everything. But overall, Medina's kit I feel pretty solid, or pretty happy with. It's just generally a really nice looking kit already, and you know, just more spells and more of what she needed to be a competent damage dealer. Is she going to be the best farmer? No, but just given some of the AoE units that have come into the game, yeah, that's kind of not really her thing. But I think she can be a really competent damage dealer. Oh, excuse me. Also because, oh my god, I choked on myself. Yuck. Anyway, I think she'll just be a competent damage dealer. Alright, moving on, let's go and talk about our Thunder unit, our Thundery boy, Thunder Swordy boy, to get his next one. Now, looking at him, he got a couple of upgrades. A 1-2 damage ability that basically ended up getting, that does now 137% modifier, but also increases his own speed by 20% for 3 turns to himself. Now this ability also has more range on it. It has a high number of times that you can cast it. Taking a look at what also got his new ability, which deals damage. And one of the weird ones was in the sub part of his samurai job, which, you know, maybe not necessarily you want to run warrior or ninja, but the fact that one of his upgrades in a sub part of his job and not the main part is a little disappointing, because it kind of feels like if you're going to EX him, you're just keeping him as a samurai. Maybe that's fine, but new ability will now give evasion rate 25 for allies and 50 for himself. Evasion still feels kind of memey, so I'm not really excited about this at all. O's kit and his stats, they're definitely improved, and they're improved by a fair bit, and there's the vision card as well. But overall, the fact that one of O's upgrades kind of goes around evasion, Oli's still really strong. Messengers are really strong, and I just don't think it's enough to really excuse me, validate building him as an EX unit, as EX are pretty expensive and he's in a higher tier. MR/SSR rarity characters, there's going to be quite a few of them in the future getting their own EX, and this just doesn't really feel that exciting. But I don't know, someone might build him and he might be okay, but I just don't think he's worth the effort. And last but not least, definitely not least, probably one of the most exciting of all of them. Not in terms of being like, wow, this is going to revolutionize the game, but definitely one that's a popular unit, that's a cheap tier, that probably is, you know, might just be worth a build, is Phoebe. Phoebe's skill, or taking a look at Phoebe's stats, again, she gets a pretty nice little boost, almost to up above kind of where some MRs would be in certain stats. Her stats never really go above and beyond, and taking a look at her agility, which is a primary concern here, 17 stays basically where it is, even with the EX, and that's kind of a little worrying for what we're going to talk about. But one of the things I'm not worried about is the abilities that she ended up getting. First of all, one of her support abilities, her decreased activation time for herself, also now gets an agility boost of 12%, which, again, that's kind of why we wanted to see a higher agility from her for her EX, because she was a little slow and it would have been nice if she gotten a little bit more, but now the activation time plus agility I feel is really, really nice. And for time mages in the future, if they're going to be getting this kind of thing, like any time mage is going to get this activation time agility increase, that is looking really, really nice. And her two new abilities, or one upgrade, one new. First of all, Quicken is getting a upgrade, bigger range, same number of casts, same cost. But Quicken getting an upgrade is like really interesting for a couple reasons. One, it's one of the strongest time mage spells, but also I think that it's really interesting because if enemy time mages start getting this upgraded Quicken too, could make for more challenging stages in the future, but we'll keep an eye on that. Either way, her last new ability is a Party plus AoE, 26 TP, 2 casts, increase agility by 25% for 3 turns to allies. Now, a couple things. First of all, increasing agility is super nice. 25% here is really nice. For 3 turns is really nice. But I do have to compare this to another unit who is currently on the JP side, which is Titus. Titus has a 100% chance ability to increase 42 times for speed for 3 turns to ally. So I think this is kind of interesting because here you have either an agility or speed, and no, they're not the exact same thing, but Titus was kind of a free unit on the JP side. Phoebe here we're looking at a EX, and you know what? First of all, EXing a lower tier unit like this is going to be much easier than a UR, obviously, because you just get more shards of these kind of characters, and if you've been playing the game long enough, you could probably just, use all those low tier soul medals to potentially just max them almost instantly. But a couple of things that are interesting here to talk about a character that is not on the global side yet, but is on the JP. Elshura is a time mage as well, a higher tier time mage that will probably get a lot of the same upgrades here, but with better stats. One of the things I should report at this time that I've heard that Phoebe's max agility at level 120 is the same as this character, Elshura, agility at 99, and that just doesn't bode as well. I think that this unit is better versatility overall, and I think that it's probably best to just wait and maybe EX job this unit, but that's very far down the line. So if you're looking for a speed unit, Phoebe might be a fun little build, especially if you really like Phoebe. I really wouldn't stop you from doing that. But I think that these enhancements would probably be just way nicer on this unit and way more useful. So yeah, put a pin in that. I guess we'll talk about it in 19 months when it happens. All right, so that's over. Now we're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, there are a couple of new banners here on the JP side, dealing with a couple of new vision cards. So let's talk about these vision cards. First of all, the Omega card. It is a 70 cost card, maxed out 276 HP, 142 attack, 5 spirit, and 3 agility. Really nice stats on a card. The agility that is starting to pop up on cards, but not only that, it has a little bit of spirit, and it has a good amount of attack and HP. It is primarily focused on dark attack units. Taking a look at the Awakening, you're basically getting about 8% agility on a specific unit, which is really nice. And in terms of the Awakening effect, as you can see here, so increase slash attack by a total of 35 for dark allies, and increase magic resistance by 20% for dark allies when this card is fully maxed. I think that this vision card is pretty nuts. It is looking just really, really nice overall. For dark units, this is going to be major protection versus holy. 20% magic resistance just off a vision card is really strong. You might even be able to build dark evasion units again with this, given that holy will be less of a problem. And That's not to say that Holy won't still hit strong. Yuna is definitely incredibly powerful, but this does tip the balance a little bit back towards dark units. Obviously, this card is better for probably Fling Stern specifically, but it could also benefit units such as Kane and Garble, both who are dark units that are kind of weak to Holy. So there's definitely properties for this card outside of other. And the next vision card to talk about is the Rob card, which is exactly what I'm calling it. First of all, individual ability is increase slash penetration resistance, or slash resistance penetration by a total of 18. So I think I got that wrong in the card. I said it was slash resistance, and it turns out that it is just allowing you to do extra damage. Wow, this is just really, really a strong vision card, I have to say. It's through slash resistance. Its ability on it, which can be used on, looks like Samurais plus Laswell. 240% damage maxed out with 100% hit chance, 2 uses at 28 AP. A pretty solid little single target ability that can, get by evasion and still dish out a lot of damage. And this vision card is already really strong. Taking a look at the party effects, the condition for light allies will be a total of 50% attack increase and a total of 10% critical evasion as well. 50% attack is a massive boost for light units. And if you consider the fact that light has some of the best chaining in the game still for elemental, with units like Ramza, Thancred, and Elshura, to name just a few units, this vision card is incredibly strong. It also gives an evasion rate increase of 20 for light allies, which will probably be better for PvE, but holy cow, Rob as a unit may not be totally as exciting anymore, but this vision card is absolutely nuts. If you're into light units and light physical units, this card seems just really good because of the 50% attack increase. It is specialized, but wow, is it really well specialized. Now, can I get a modifier to make Laswell a light unit? No? Well, shit, I tried. Okay. But continuing on, I think that we have to talk about Omega as well, and Golem, as both of those are brand new 3 stars on the JP side. So first of all, let's talk about the Esper, the brand new Esper Omega, who has a high amount of HP, a high amount of attack, 14 agility, 77 luck, and it looks like it gives you some slow resistance as well, so from its board, or something like that. Anyway, its attack fully maxed out is a 275%, 100% chance hit Esper attack. That also has a chance of a maxed out chance, interestingly, of 67% chance to paralyze with an 80% chance of paralysis for 3 turns to a target or targets. Decreases dark resistance for 1 turn or 3 turns. Not entirely sure. That seems to be a parsing error or something on, but continuing on. And of course, just gives the general boost for dark units as well. Omega seems like a really good summon, but for who exactly is not entirely clear. He has accuracy, evocation boost, attack increase, dark attack increase, light killer, slash attack up, evasion, dragon killer, and magic resistance as well. So first of all, taking a look at that, dragon killer, oh god, are we going to have to fight Bahamut in the near future? That might just make this a really necessary summon. Magic resistance is just really good for a lot of dark units. While he definitely has a huge amount of attack up, I could see you skipping the attack nodes and basically just going for the increased dark attack, and he would still be good for specific dark units, such as Garble, who is a mage, or Kane, who is just a really strong character. But overall, if you were to go purely attack on Omega, he'd probably end up just being absolutely amazing on Bling Stern, and that probably is the best unit for this summon. But with that being said, I can absolutely see this being a 100% great summon for Kane because of the magic resistance and whatnot, or Garble. Like, this feels like a solid summon, so no complaints here. Moving on. Last but not least is Golem. Now, taking a look at Golem here, Golem's total stats got, I think, a little bit improved here. Looking at his skill tree, there's Earth Attack now. So, yeah, looking at Golem's 3-star board, he kind of got more in the way of attack, taking away from one of the things that made him such an interesting esper as being a really good tanky esper. That being said, Golem is just really going to still be strong on characters such as Agrias or whatnot. So, yeah, but looking overall at Golem's improvements to a 3-star, other than stats, feels a little underwhelming, but probably is okay for what he is. I feel like we're probably going to get a new tank esper in Alexander, and probably that will be the better 3-star tank esper. But that's just a estimate based on it. So yeah, taking a look at the stuff on the JP side, I think that there's a lot of good stuff here. Omega seems like a really great summon for anyone who's in dark units. The new light vision card is really strong for a lot of the sword units, and probably if you are just have those light units, you're going to want to get that vision card and get it maxed eventually. And last but not least, talking about the new EX units, definitely see promise for Medina. See not so much promise for O, and last but not least, when it comes to Phoebe, I feel like Phoebe is probably a general better sorry, lost my train of thought. Feel like she is a general better indication of future units such as Elshura and other time mages in the future that could probably leverage it a little bit better. But since Phoebe is also a lower rarity unit, she is much easier to build as an EX unit, and EX units are expensive. That may well factor into your considerations. But either way, general pretty good update, and we'll see about the raid later. And for anybody who here's a little bit of a bonus for sticking towards the end of the video about the Christmas coat. The Christmas coat has a increased evasion rate for itself. Also, there is a dodge version that has a 29 evade stat, but getting it up to a 5-star will give an evasion rate of 10, but getting it up to a +5 will also give a total of 15% light resistance. So it's kind of the anti-Una coat. But Holy's still strong, so this coat feels kind of I don't know. Probably a fine thing for PvE, but in terms of PvP, given how prominent Una is, strong she is, while this feels nice, it's probably not enough. Keep an eye on it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.